Okay, can we acknowledge ourselves for making it here after the day we had today? We know the day we had today. Absolutely. Absolutely. Would you like to take a moment now to just relax? I'm going to do a short little meditation to bring us in and get ready to hear some deep stuff that you don't have to believe, that you don't have to accept, that you don't have to welcome. Some of it's going to be hard to believe. Some of it's going to be quite startling. And if you use it, you'll see that it works. And it's not about analyzing it, it's about using it. And since you don't have to believe it, that frees us up to hear outrageous things. I want to hear outrageous stuff. I don't want to hear regular stuff. I want to hear outrageous stuff. And so take a breath right now. You're going to dive on into it. Tell yourself, all that I know is not all there is to know. All that I know is not all there is to know. I don't know everything. All that I know is not all there is to know. I do not know everything. I'd rather be happy than right. All that I know is not all there is to know. I'd rather be happy than to be right. The primary characteristic of mastery. The primary characteristic of mastery. The primary characteristic of mastery. It's time to hear the primary characteristic of mastery. The first thing to remember is fearlessness is the primary characteristic of mastery. Just let yourself hear this. Fearlessness is the primary characteristic of mastery. Fearlessness is the primary characteristic of mastery. Mastery is not having great power to make things happen. Mastery is not having great power to make things happen. Mastery is not having great power to make things happen. Mastery is only the recognition. Mastery is only the recognition that what is true always. Recognizing that what is true is always true and there is no other choice is the primary characteristic of mastery. Free will doesn't mean that you have the right to believe that you can succeed at being other than what God created you to be. Free will doesn't mean that you have the right to believe that you can succeed at being other than what your Creator created you to be. Having free will does not mean that you can elect not to take the only curriculum that life is offering to you in every moment. Having free will does not mean that you can elect not to take the only curriculum that life is offering to you in every moment. Free will means only that you do have the right to put it off yet another day. Free will means only that you have the right to put off mastery yet another day. And each time you put off what life is offering you, every time you put off what life is offering you, you slumber in your suffering only when you put off the right to use your free will another day to receive the curriculum that life is offering you in every moment. But when you elect to take the only curriculum that matters, when you elect to take the only curriculum that matters, when you elect to take the only curriculum that matters, when you elect to use the power of your free will to say, when you elect to use the power of your free will to say, use the power of your free will to say, now from this moment on, from this moment on, from this moment on, from this moment on, you will no longer tolerate error in yourself. No more games, no more games, no more dreams, no more dreams. You are committed to being only the presence of love. You are committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to only being the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. We are committed to only being the presence of love. We are committed to being only the presence of love. That's what you want to tell yourself. I am committed to being only the presence of love. For that is the truth of who I am. I am committed to being only the presence of love. For that is the truth of who I am. I am the presence of love. I am the presence of love. You are 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 fully committed to being only the presence of love. You are 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 the presence of love. We are the presence of love. We are the presence of love. We are the presence of love. Of love. Of love. We are the presence 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 of love. You are the presence of love. So we're going to be in the way of mastery. Way of mastery. We're going to be in the way of the heart, part 1. And we're going to be in the section that's called the primary characteristic of mastery. And we are going to start with the paragraph that says, it matters not the opinions of others. It matters not the opinions of others. It's going to be on page 73 if you got the book. It's on page 73 in the paragraph, it matters not the opinions of others, the paragraph I'm starting in.
So crazy.
Now, in order to really get a lot out of tonight's class, I want to ask you to let go of your belief that you have to believe what I'm saying. In order to hear something new, the Course in Miracles teaches that we have to be willing to hear it without judging it, hearing without believing it necessarily, just being willing to hear it. Can we do that? Yes. Are y'all willing to do that tonight? To just really just say, I'm going to hear it. I don't care how way out it is. I don't care how different it is. I don't care what resistance I have. I don't have to believe it, so I'm going to hear it. And what I'm going to try to emphasize tonight is the practical application of the ideas. Like whatever it tells us to do, I'm going to stop right there and we're going to do it. All right? So it starts out by saying it doesn't matter, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit to make it more conversational. It doesn't matter the opinions of others who are yet resisting the decision. What decision? The decision to see themselves only as the presence of love. And so then indeed all things under heaven and earth move to support you when you decide to be the presence of love. Everything under heaven and earth all moves to support you, to guide you where? To guide you to the right person, to guide you to the right place, to guide you to the right book, to guide you to the right sunrise, to guide you to the right meadow, in order to assist you in dropping the shackles of the obstacles of the presence. You want to drop the shackles of the obstacles to the presence of love. So everything is going to help us out right now to drop the shackles of the obstacles to the presence of love. And the Course says that the obstacles to the presence of love that you have created. So everything in the universe is conspiring to help you drop all the obstacles to the presence of love if you say, I am committed to being only the presence of love because that's the truth of what I am. If I'm committed to being the presence of love because that's the truth of what I am, then everything under heaven and earth will move to support me, guide me, direct me to the right people, to the right places, to the right books, to the right synchronicities, to help me drop all the obstacles to knowing that I'm juicy and I'm full of love. So it says that you have created an idol. See, the obstacle is some idol that we created as a substitute for love. So the way of mastery is saying that an idol is just anything that you're giving yourself other than love that's more important to you than your peace. So that would be an idol. He says that's why when you truly pray and you really pray, no game playing, but some real praying, the way of mastery says that means you're praying from the depth of your soul. Have you ever prayed from the depth of your soul where you know you really needed to pray hard about something? Well, it's saying that what you're really saying is, God, bring me home. Love, bring me home. I want to know love again. I want to know the presence of love again, not the bargains that we give each other in the name of love. I don't want any more of the bargains that we give each other in the name of love. And the problem with that is I've got to give up my bargaining. Okay? So you may be rest assured from that moment on, it is fine to trust every little thing that unfolds. Okay, so that means that once you said, my Creator, I really want to come home to love. I really want to be the presence of love. I want every obstacle that keeps me from knowing I'm the presence of love to be removed. At that point, everything in creation starts to move in such a way as to support you in letting go of the blocks. So how do you deal with that? He says how you deal with that is you start to trust that every little thing that unfolds is fine. Because every little thing that unfolds in our lives from this moment forward would be exactly what we would need to let go of the obstacles to the presence of happiness and love. So a conscious being would go, okay, I've decided I want to reconnect with love. I only want to be the presence of love. So at this moment, I'm going to start trusting that everything that happens in my life is in divine order. For though you see it not, what you call angels, and he says angels are just friends who don't have bodies. I love that definition. An angel is just a friend that you can't see. And we tend to think because we don't see something that doesn't exist, but it's a scientific fact that we see a tiny portion of the spectrum of light, that literally we are seeing next to nothing of what it is to see, even on a physical level. So it's not true that just because we don't see something, it doesn't exist. It's not true that just because you don't see something, it doesn't exist. And it's not true that just because we don't see a being, they don't exist. So an angel is just us without a body, because you're not going to always have a body. Did you know that? Everybody clear about that? Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So, are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying it so much you got a little taste of guilt you're trying to work out? Okay, that just means you're lying to yourself about how you're using it. Because the solution is never guilt. The solution is a correction of perception. Because guilt doesn't change anything. But getting another way of looking at it does. So feeling guilty doesn't really change anything. So even though it's popular. Okay. Now, you know, everybody goes straight to guilt. Oh, I feel so guilty. I feel so guilty. Oh, so guilty, guilty. And it's like the Course in Miracles teaches that whatever you feel guilty about, you're going to do it again. And you know that's true, right? From your own experience. The thing I'm never going to do, I feel guilty about eating that chocolate. Next time I see you, you own the candy store. All you got to do is forbid yourself, and all of a sudden it has an irresistible attraction. It really is. Like it's like one of the easiest ways to get beyond a need is to have it met, rather than spend all your time necessarily trying to get rid of the need. You know, if I have a need for a hug, there's nothing wrong with me having that need met by somebody giving me a hug. What I want to do is get to the point that my happiness is not dependent on someone giving me a hug. But there's nothing wrong with me having that need met to have a hug. Okay? There's no sacrifice on the path that we're on. There's no sacrifice and suffering on the path that we're on. It's not asking us to sacrifice and suffer. That's the old path. Okay? So, what is an angel?
A friend without bodies.
That's right. And so we're angels who are friends with bodies. So we're angels too. Okay? Yes, I accept your presence in my life. So what you say, the angels, he said, you call angels or friends that simply do not have bodies, are rushing about because you have given the command, yes, I accept your presence in my life. I turn the whole thing over. Now each moment is dedicated to healing and awakening. Every one of my moments are now dedicated to healing and awakening, but awakening from what? Awakening from the illusory sense of separation from my Creator. What am I healing from? The illusion that I'm separate from love. The illusion that I'm separate from love. The false idea that love isn't available to me. The false idea that love which created me is not available to me. So what I'm doing is awakening from the illusory sense of separation from my source that once I created in error. So I've made the mistake of thinking that I'm separate from love. I've made the mistake of thinking I'm separate from you. I've made the mistake of thinking I'm separate from God. I've made the mistake of thinking that we're separate and we're not joined. That's the one mistake that's created all the pain that we see in the world. The idea that we are not connected. And that we're not in this together and that we're not one. So in how many ways have you sought love? Have you looked for it in all the wrong places? Where is the wrong place to look for love? Outside. Where do we look for love? Outside. Now you kind of understand the misery we see in each other's eyes. Because the one place that you will never find something is where it's not located.
Yes.
Can everybody agree on that? You know, I think about it sometimes, like when I'm looking for something and it's somewhere else, I realize I could have looked for it for 1,000 years and never found it. So maybe the reason why we haven't found what we're looking for is that we're not looking for it where it's located. Maybe we're not looking for our abundance where it's located. Maybe we're not looking for our peace where it's located. Maybe we're not looking for right relationship where it's located. Maybe we're not looking for support where it's... Suppose everything is available to us, but we're just not looking in the right place. So that means that it's there, we're just not looking in the right place. That makes me feel better.
Yes.
Because if you lost something, all that means is you don't remember where you left it. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means you don't remember where it is. You misplaced your wallet. It doesn't mean your wallet ceased to exist. It just means you don't recognize where it is. So let's look at it that way. Everything we want exists. We may not know where to look for it yet. And that's why it looks like we haven't found it. So that makes me feel better. You know. Okay, so it goes on to say, can you count the ways that you've sought for love? Would you dare to try to count each little pebble of sand on the beaches of your planet? Each and every soul has already tried to seek out love in that many ways, if not more. We were just told that in our soul, there's these invincible, unlimited souls that are now experiencing ourselves as a human body. We're back again, experiencing ourselves as a human body. That we've sought for love in as many different ways as there are pebbles of sand on all the beaches in the world. That's how many lovers you and You've been looking for love in as many different ways as there are pebbles on every beach, not in Denver, if there was a beach in Denver, but in the whole friggin' world. So maybe we want to reconsider how we've been looking. Who would be willing to do it? In other words, this book is telling us by the time we got to the point that we're sitting here ready to try to see it another way, we've tried it the other way millions of times. We've sought love and happiness in our own way millions of times. And so it says that you have sought it in a million forms in which you already knew that you couldn't find it. Now that's crazy. You know, I'm looking for it, but I'm making sure that I'm looking for it where it isn't. Whew. Maybe that's why I haven't found it. Now we're talking about love. We're not talking about the bargains now. I'm not talking about the bargains that we do. Okay? I'm not talking about our made-up version of love. You know that version, right? Yeah. Okay. It's the version that we use anger and guilt to try to get someone to treat us the way we want to treat us from time to time. And we give it and then we take it back when we don't get it the way we want it, according to our script. That's not love. That's not love. And so it says, all because you wanted to perpetuate the insane attempt to try to separate yourself from God, which is your creator. So the Course is saying, and that's as futile as a sunbeam trying to separate itself from the sun. What we're trying to do is just crazy as a sunbeam saying, I'm not going to be a part of the sun anymore. And you saying that you are not love and that you're not a part of love is insane, because you are the extension of it. If love is going to come in this room, it's going to come through us. If we're going to experience love tonight in this room with each other, it's going to come through us. If we're going to have a good time, if we're going to feel connected, if we're going to feel peace, if we're going to feel anything cool tonight, it's not going to come from anybody outside of us. It's going to come through us. All right. So, indeed, beloved friends, there's only one question that you need to answer. Just one question that you need to answer. What am I choosing in this moment right here? What am I choosing right now? Not in a moment from now. You should live your life in 10-second increments. I'm going to be loving for 10 seconds. I'm going to be patient for 10 seconds. I'm going to try to look at it another way for 10 seconds. Just do it 10 seconds at a time. And you'll find that you'll be happier a lot more than if you tried to do it a week at a time. I can like everybody in it for 10 seconds. I can give you the best I got to give for 10 seconds. Well, okay, I'm going to get into that. All right. It'll be the best 10 seconds you ever had in your whole life. That's hilarious. Okay. Don't lose your sense of humor, I keep telling you. Keep it going. All right? So what am I choosing in this moment? What are you choosing to think right now? Right now, what are you thinking? Out of all the things you could be thinking right now in this room with all these people, what are you thinking?
I'm innocent.
Okay, anybody else? What are you thinking in this moment? She's thinking that she's innocent.
Raj is funny.
You thinking that Raj is funny. Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
I'm glad I got here.
You thinking you're glad you actually got here. I'm glad you got here too. Yeah, yeah. What are you choosing in this moment? Yeah. All right. We don't have the two things to choose between, what, love and fear.
Yep.
So either you're choosing right now to feel separate from everybody, or feel resistance with everybody, or you're feeling right now to feel connected and feel good about everybody. So would that make all of us neutral? Yeah, yeah, I'm neutral. You're choosing how you want to experience me in this moment. So what have I given mastery over my life unto? So who's mastering my life right now? And who have I given mastery over my life? Have I given it to my relatives? Have I given it to my upbringing? Have I given it to society? Who has master over, who's my master? Who's your master right now? Who are you jumping? Who are you trying to be open to? You know, like it says, what have I given mastery over my life unto? What perception, what thought, what feeling am I letting master me right now in my life? Most of the time am I depressed? Most of the time am I worrying? Most of the time am I feeling lonely? Am I feeling joyful and optimistic most of the time? Am I feeling like I'm becoming freer and freer most of the time? So in other words, what is your master right now? What feeling is your master right now? In this moment, who's your master? Who's your daddy? Who's your master daddy? Right now, is it fear or is it love? Are you feeling good? Are you still thinking about something to make you feel bad? Who's your master? So your feeling flows from the thought or the perception that you've chosen. I said it again. The way you feel actually flows from the thought and the perception that you're choosing to have right now. So your feelings always work you back to your thinking. So if you ever want to know what you're thinking, start with what you're feeling, and it'll take you back to what you're thinking, because what you're feeling is coming from what you're thinking. So based on that, the way you feel right now, what kind of thoughts are you having right now? Great question. What behavior, what action am I choosing in this moment, and does it express the reality of my being? In other words, whatever I'm choosing to do right now, and however I'm choosing to express myself right now, is that really how I really feel? Are you acting the way you really feel? Are you expressing yourself right now the way you really feel? Are you being busy extending love, or are you busying yourself fearfully trying to grasp at what you think can give you love? I said it again. Am I giving you love, or am I trying to grab some love from you? Am I coming into this room to give joy, or am I coming into this room saying, I hope you make me feel better, Earl?
Probably all of the above.
Whatever you feel is the right answer. But are you here to give, or are you here to take? Are you here to give, or are you here to get? You're innocent either way it goes. But just kind of ask yourself that. Am I looking for everybody to make me feel good tonight? Or am I coming in here saying, how can I be only the presence of love for everybody in this room tonight, so that the universe can move heaven and earth to remove every obstacle that keeps me from being aware of the presence of love in myself, because I've forgotten how loving I am, because I think I'm separate from my Creator. Have you noticed that when you have a day and everybody treats you really cool and you have a really wonderful experiences happen, that there's a tendency for you to say, God was really good to me today, that the universe was really good to me today, that creation was good to me today? So check that out. You're taking how people treat you to say that's how God is treating you. You're doing that. He's saying we're doing that all the time. If I'm only getting my butt kicked all the time and everything is going horrible for me all the time, then a part of me will think that there's something out to get me, or that there's something against me right now. And if everything is going my way, I'll be quick to say, well, Spirit must really be on my side right now because everybody's treating me so wonderfully. So the truth is, it's the way we treat each other that makes us believe that the truth is true for us or not. Fair enough? If you tend to think everybody's being very kind to you, there's a tendency to think life loves you. That Spirit is obviously proving to you that it loves you. So it says that, so what are you trying to get from them? I love that. He says, look well upon your parents, your siblings, your mates, and your friends. Not one of them holds the power to bring love to you, to bring it to you. Nobody can bring you love. Now, we can get out of the way and be a channel for love to come through, but I can't give you, I don't source love. I'm a channel for it. There's no such thing as making love. Love can't be made. You can't make love with anybody. You can make fear with them. And if you think about the aftermath of most of your love-making experiences, you'd have to agree with me that you made fear. Many times you made fear. And so you don't make love, you extend it. Right? And so nobody that you know can bring love to you. So what are you trying to get from them? Why do you ever insist that another ought to be conformed to what you believe you need? Why do you think somebody else should be conforming to what you think you need? Well, what's the point then? If you're not conforming to what I believe I need, if you're not trying to make me happy in any way, what good is it being with you? It is futile, 100% absolutely positively futile to seek love in relationship with anything or anyone. I just feel so much pressure being taken off of me. I don't know if anybody else feels it, but I feel pressure being taken off me. I don't have to try to seek love from you, because now I know you can't source it. And so it says, it is, however, quite appropriate to extend love to each relationship with everyone and everything. See, that's the problem with that love stuff. It messes around and includes everyone. I just want your love for me. Let's get this very clear. All your love should be for me. Okay? Let's get clear about that. Because love that you give to somebody else is love I'm not getting. And I want it all. And in return, I'll ignore you while I eat dinner. If other people love the way I'm loved, I would call them a scam artist. It's funny, you know what I'm saying? It's like, there's a part of me that looks out for me first. Is it? You have a part like that? Yeah. That you look at things in terms of you first and how it's going to meet your needs first. Okay, so now we can forgive each other, right? Because everybody else is like that too. So we shouldn't be getting upset because they're looking out for themselves first too. So there's nothing for me to forgive you about now, because you're just doing like me. You know. Sweet. But it's always right if I do it though. But that's the only problem. It's okay for me. If I make a mistake, I want y'all to forgive me and see me as the holy son of God and totally innocent and a call for love. But if you do something wrong, I want to hang your butt from the high street. But me, the biggest serial killer in the world, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that killed Frosted Flakes and Rice Krispies. You know, I'm talking about a serious serial killer. That person. I caught him stabbing a box of Raisin Bran just the other day. A serial killer, okay? A serial killer wants mercy. The person who does the most dastardly deeds will say, have mercy on me. You know, we want forgiveness. When we make errors, we want forgiveness. So if we don't start forgiving people for the errors that they make, we create a reality where we're surrounded by people who don't forgive us for ours. And then when you need forgiveness, no one will give it to you because you don't realize that's a reflection of your unwillingness to give forgiveness to others. See, I want to be unforgiving and attract forgiving people. I just want to tell you how I want. I want to be the worst person in the house and still get all the good stuff. Really. No matter what I do, I still want life to treat me beautifully. Do you know that that's really, in a way, the way it is? No matter what I do, the sun shines on me. The sun doesn't go, oh, I saw what you did last night, Rod. Sorry, no sun for you today. You will have no heat. No, it doesn't matter what I do. Life still supports me. My heart keeps beating. I keep on breathing. So whatever it is that's behind this is not holding the things we do against us like we are. Because it doesn't take our life away just because we made a mistake. Now, you're going to leave your body one day because it's temporary and everything in time ends and begins. Anything that begins in time ends in time, but we're going beyond time because who we are immortal spiritual beings that are the presence of love, now having a human experience in the genders and the sexes that we are. That's all we doing. We just unlimited spiritual beings saying, what's up? What would it be like to be a human? Wow. Other than that, you know, that backache every now and then, it feels pretty cool, you know. I'm seeing what it's like to be a separate human. And that's what it was saying. That the mistake we make, though, is nothing wrong with choosing to be human. The problem is when we forget our connection to Source, and our connection to God, and our connection to love, and we forget how to hear our inner guidance. And then we make mistakes and end up in situations that got us freaking out because we've forgotten who we are. So this is what it says to us. The extension of that love requires that you have awakened to the truth that the only relationship that truly holds value is the relationship between you as the soul and your creator. So the only relationship that's really valuable is the relationship you have with that which created you in the first place, because I don't know how to break it to you, according to this stuff they said we didn't create ourselves. Isn't that ridiculous? We didn't create ourselves. One of the ways you know you didn't create yourself was that you pretty much don't know what's going on inside your body and couldn't fix it if you had to. But when I create something personally, I know all parts of it. You know, if I put a model car together, I know exactly what parts of the car, where they are, how they fit together, right? When you make a cake, you pretty much know the ingredients. Since you don't know the ingredients of yourself, you can't fix yourself, you obviously didn't bake your own cake. Did you hear that? Or as you know how to fix your heart, you know where it was, you know everything about your body if you created it. So you didn't create it. So therefore, there's something that created you, and it would behoove you to get in touch with that which is sustaining your very life. That's just, to me, that just sounds like a logical thing to do. But I learned some screwed up stuff, what I think was screwed up stuff anyway, about God when I grew up that was very fearful and very limiting, and so I was tempted to throw out the Creator with its concepts that I learned as a child that weren't true. So now I'm saying, nope, I still want to be connected to the Source. I'm just letting go of the idea that my Creator hates me, condemns me, sees me as sinful, sees me as guilty, and wants to kill me. I think that would make me love my Creator more. I'm gonna totally destroy you, but love me. Okay? But that's the way we do. We attack somebody, then we say, love me. We dog them out, and then we say, why don't you love me? I mean, when you really start to see what we do really correctly, you will start to laugh. You won't feel bad. You just see how ludicrous it's being, and you'll forgive yourself. Because I realize more and more every day how many times people were loving me, and I didn't even know it. And I have to forgive myself for how much love opportunity I wasted in my lifetime out of my own selfish focus and self-absorption with my own script and myself. So I have to forgive myself. Because I've had a lot of people really give me some love that I did not appreciate and did not see, and almost punished them for giving it to me. It's like the more they gave it to me, the more I go off. Because they were giving me what I didn't think I deserved, so I thought they were deceiving me and not hurt me because they were lying. Because I don't deserve how they would treat me. I wouldn't join a club that would have me as a member. You want me, you're a bad judge of character. Some people's self-esteem is just that low. The fact that you want them means they think something must be wrong with you. And it's true. See, you can laugh at your ego, but once you start going beyond it a little bit, but while you're still in it, it's hard to laugh at it. Like, I don't mind admitting that there's a part of me that's selfish, crazy, jealous, insecure, you name it, wants to attack, wants to have my way. There's a part of me that ain't nice at all. And I'm willing to admit that because I know it's not me now. So I can tell you about it. But when I thought it was me, I was busy pretending that it wasn't in me and I was being really nice to hide how pitiful I thought I was. Now I know I'm not, so I can talk about the part of me that has cause for love. All right? So before I go any further, let me stop right here. Any questions, any comments, or sharing from anything that's been said so far?
Earl?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned when you were talking about why are we here tonight, are we trying to give or to get? And it occurred to me, can we have both? Isn't that what sharing is all about, where we give and we receive?
Well, remember, the question didn't really have an answer per se. It was just saying, are you here to give or are you here to get? And I think the context it was talking about it from was, am I really here to be a benefit to everybody in here? Or is it just about me getting something just for myself? And some of us feel like it's both. And then some of us feel like it's neither one. So in other words, there wasn't a wrong response.
Right.
Yeah, it was
I'm
just
wondering if you move that line from one polar position to I'm in the middle.
Right. And only you would know that. But the cool part was that the purpose of the question was just to get us to check ourselves out, to see where we were feeling in the moment. And so there isn't a right or wrong answer. It was just, how do you feel in this moment? Are you here to get? Are you out to give? Well, I'm here to give and get. I'm here just to get. Well, I'm here to give. You know, it's like it's going to vary all through the room. But self-inquiry is the key to awakening. You don't wake up till you start asking yourself questions about your motives. Okay? Yes, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you're saying to me ties into what you were talking about on Sunday, about when you were talking about judgment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, a situation that I was telling you about on Sunday, I kind of lost my train of thought. Now I remember the question, but basically what it is when you were talking about, judgment, and I had an individual come to me in an inappropriate way. And I felt as though that I handled the situation appropriately but respectfully. And when you were talking about judgment, I was thinking about that. I'm thinking, I never really kind of looked at it in that light. So could my appropriate and respectful response to that individual, it wasn't judgmental. Kind of understand what I'm saying? I wasn't being judgmental to the person. I was just, for me, it was just a matter of respect. I'm telling this person, you were disrespectful to me. Can you be respectful to me? And that was that. And when you were talking about, being judging, it really made me think about, because I'm thinking like, did I judge this person? And I'm like, no, you didn't judge this person. This person was somewhat disrespectful to you. You handled the situation appropriately, but you were firm about what you said to this person.
And that's why it always keeps asking us in any situation, in the circumstance, to ask yourself, what is the purpose? What is it for? Because the purpose is always the meaning. Purpose is meaning. So if my purpose was to heal with you and to get some situation solved with you, then that was the meaning of what I just did. And so if that meaning is my true meaning and I'm being authentic and I'm being real, I won't feel any guilt about what I've just said or done because I know it wasn't coming from hate, malice, or attack. So what really matters is how you were feeling behind what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
What you were telling yourself behind what you said to him,
Mm-hmm.
that was what was teaching you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you was being respectful on the outside and saying you little damn bastard on the inside, then that would have been the judgment that you would be putting on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You follow what I'm saying? Because it's what we're thinking behind what we say that really is what teaches us. It's not the words we use, because we can always say things we don't mean. So it's not the words alone, but the purpose of words, and the cool thing about words is that words facilitate concentration and kind of separate you from thoughts that you don't want to think. Like for instance, if I say, I deserve to see myself as loving, using those words allow me to completely overlook and not focus on the idea that I don't deserve love, or that I'm guilty, or that I'm fearful. Words help you concentrate. Words help you put away thoughts that you don't want to think. But words are just symbols, and they're just symbols of symbols. Like if you say the word body, it's a symbol of a symbol, because my very body is a symbol. Did you know that? And your body is the symbol of separation. I wanted to be separate. I had to be separate in something. And so my body allows it to look like I'm separate from you. So where did the body come from? My desire to be separate. It's that's too obvious and logical, so it makes us tilt. You know what I'm saying? That's just so direct. Do you think you're separate? Yes. What do you think you're separate in? My body. Oh, that's where it came from. You wanted to be separate. Now you have a body. I know we wanted to be deeper than that.
But in the situation that he was describing, the person that he's talking to can choose to take that message however they want, so he can't really control that. So even if he's giving it to in a loving, respectful way, the person could say, could take it.
Right, that's why I was saying that what he said to him and what he was telling himself behind what he said to him was teaching him. Exactly. It never, one of the hardest things to get is it never has anything to do with the other person. You know what I'm saying? That's the illusion. It's like if I feel offended by something you've done, I need to remember that I'm the one that interpreted what you did as an offense. It wasn't that you necessarily did something that was offensive. I interpreted what you did as offensive, and then I reacted to you as if you were offensive. So therefore I asked for respect. You see, but all of that was really what was going on in my own mind, because I can't honestly say that I know that was the motivation of the other person. Because there's only 3 accurate responses to anything. It's either true, it's either false, or you don't know. And everything else is a story. Everything else is a story. Is it true that we're all sitting in the room? I mean, relatively speaking, you can get all metaphysical. We're not really here. Physicists say, so just cool that stuff and just really know what I'm talking about. Can we agree we're sitting in the room?
Yes.
Okay. Now, that's true. But the minute I start saying what any of you all are thinking, now I'm making up a story. And that's what you have to do in every situation. What's true in this situation? What's false in this situation? And what is it I don't know? And and always what I don't know is what the other person is thinking and what the other person's motivation really is. All I can do is make up where I think you're coming from.
Well, they'll tell you where they're coming from.
Not necessarily now. Necessarily, but that's not the real issue. The real issue is whatever is happening is either true, or it's either false, or it's a story, or it's maybe. I don't know. I don't know true, false. We can always talk about the forms of what everybody is doing. We can all talk about that. But what I love about the metaphysical truth is that it always goes to the content more than the form. And that's how you can always keep from your ego keeping us stuck on he said, she said, what the other person, it's a story. And even if they tell me where they're coming from, then that still is more in the ballpark than what I would make up that they're coming from on my own.
Unless they're not telling the truth to you either.
And still, that's what I'm saying. But you still would be closer to having some idea where that person is coming from, even if they were lying to you, that's where they're coming from. So you still got more of an idea of where they're coming from if they're expressing themselves or they're telling you where they're coming from. Most people, we're not coming from where we think we're coming from. Let's just be straight up with each other. We're not coming from where we think we're coming from. We're trying to learn how to come from there. None of us give each other unconditional love. None of us look out for each other as much as we do for ourselves. None of us are as concerned about me eating the night as you eating the night, or me having a place to sleep as you having a place to sleep. I hope we're not that much in denial. That we pretending that you think about me eating in the morning as quick as you think about you eating in the morning, and that I think about you eating this morning as quick as I think about me eating in the morning. You can tell me that, but I won't believe you. Okay? And that doesn't mean you're bad. And it doesn't mean that I'm bad. It's just the truth. We don't know how to love. I would like to say, who in this room thought about me eating this morning as quick as they thought about themselves eating? Who's is concerned about me paying my rent as you paying yours? We would know. Nobody would believe it if you said yes. So that doesn't mean we're bad. It just means we have a goal to shoot for. We have something we know we need to let go of any blocks that keep us from loving each other that way. But the ego part of the mind will spend all this time trying to make you feel guilty because you know you don't feel that way. So that ego is going to go to guilt. Oh my God, I'm a bad person because I don't care whether Raj eats as much as I eat. See, the ego is going to always go for the guilt because the guilt's always going to keep you feeling separate from God. So that is not the issue. The issue is, would I like to be a person who looked at you as myself and cared as much about your well-being as I cared about my well-being? Yes, I would like to be that person, and I'd like everything that keeps me from being that way to be removed from me. And I was told if I was to say, I'm fully committed to be in the presence of love, then it says, then the universe would do everything in its power in every way to put me at the right place at the right time in the right situations to remove everything that's causing me any kind of pain. That's what I need to remember. Not whether or not the guy really was upset at me or not, or whether the person is really telling me the truth or not. That's not even the issue. The issue is, am I willing to be the presence of love? And am I willing that everything that keeps me from being there be removed from me so that I can only be the love of God on earth? Because that's my real reason for being here, is to be loved. And now I'm making a different decision. Right?
Yes, sir.
And do you check yourself by whether you feel peace?
Yeah, well, I found that the easiest way at first when you're trying to climb out of that thing about what's right and what's wrong is to start going, what will give me the most peace without attack? And I always say without attack, because if you say without attack, you're really telling the truth about what peace is. That's how you know what peace is. So people say, well, suppose you want peace for somebody and it really hurt them. Well, again, you can't be responsible about how somebody else is interpreting your motivation and what you're doing. The only thing that matters, am I doing it in my heart from a perspective of peace? That's all that matters, not whether or not you see it that way. The only thing that matters is, am I seeing it that way? Because if I'm seeing it that way, I won't feel guilty. And if I don't feel guilty, the Course in Miracles says you can never suffer if you don't feel guilty. You would never have any lack in any way unless you feel guilt about something. And the Course says, of course we do. We've forgotten who the heck we really are and think we're separate from Source. So there's so much love coming at us that it's kind of hard to take it in. We have so much help. Okay, boom. Okay, now let's go on. Imagine a light bulb in one of your fixtures that looks out from its little filaments and says, well, I hope the person that just walked in that door is the right one. If I could just reach out and grab them, maybe my own light would come on. Imagine a light bulb in one of your fixtures, imagine that light bulb right there saying, looking out from this little filament and saying, well, I hope the person that come, one of these people that come to Earl's class is the right one. So that if I just reach out to that person in Earl's class and grab them, maybe that's what make my own light come on. So you looking for somebody else to turn you on is like the light bulb looking for me to turn it on. Nobody turns you on. You turn yourself on about them. You turn yourself on about them. They don't turn you on. Because there are people they don't turn on. And some people, when they see them, want to run over them. And then you see them, and all you want to do is throw yourself at their feet and tell them how sweet they are and how much you love them and how much they mean to you. So you're always feeling your love, not someone else's, really. I'm feeling, when I say I love you, I'm talking about what I'm feeling for you. And it's so good the way I feel when I'm with you and when I'm around you that it really doesn't matter what we do, because what I'm feeling isn't coming from you. So therefore it doesn't matter. We can be walking, we can be dancing, we can go to a movie, we can make love, we can watch TV, we can go on a trip. And when you're really in love and you let love go through you and you're with someone, you don't really care what y'all doing. You're not so fixed on, are you entertaining me? What are you doing to thrill me tonight? Of course, basically the only reason why you get bored with somebody is that you've used them up. Well, that's cold. But that's the truth. Why am I bored with you? Because nothing else, I ain't getting nothing else out of this. That's what he would say, I ain't getting nothing out of this. I'm bored with you. I've used you up. Have you ever felt like an old crumpled up napkin of love? When somebody just blew their nose on your love? Oh. Would you pass this around, please? I'd love to have you on my contact list so I can let you know what's going on. And you can get the video of these classes so you can listen back to what we're doing, because I'm caught up. So, you know, if I do a class, then the next class I post is going to be this class. You know? How many times are you going to insist on trying to plug your cord in the wrong socket? Don't you just take that when that happens? Have you ever had the wrong plug in your socket? Don't you hate when that happens? You go, oops, that's the wrong plug for my socket. So if I plug my cord in the wrong socket, I'm not gonna get the juice. I love y'all's minds. Y'all got the best minds of anybody that's ever come in here. I love your minds. That's right. It's right here in the book. I'm not making this up. I'm just saying exactly like it is in the book. Well, that one didn't work. Yeshua has a great sense of humor. Said, I'll try this body. That's right here. I'll try this body. I'll try this person. I'll try this career. Not getting very much juice. Not getting very much juice from that either. He says, and then you get angry. Yes, you do. You get angry. You get angry because it's not giving you enough juice.
Yeah.
Or it gave you enough juice yesterday, but it's not giving you enough juice today. So it must be its fault. It must be your fault. So there's one little tiny socket into which you can plug your cord. It is the only one that it fits in. And it's the only socket wired to bring you the flowing and living waters of grace. I'm trying to get through this paragraph. I'm trying to get over the part that said that one little tiny socket, you know. which you can plug your cord. It said it's the only one that it fits in, and it's the only socket wired to bring you the flowing and living waters of grace. That socket dwells only within your heart. And I like to say, whenever I see you all, I always get a great big heart on. I just want you to know that. I got a great big heart on right now. I really do. I appreciate you guys so. Do y'all get a heart on for me too? That's right. Especially the guys, don't you?
Oh yeah. The biggest.
You have the biggest heart on. I'm touched.
That's my boy.
You got a proud mom going, that's my boy. You got a big heart on for his teacher. We must stop. We're being happy ahead of time. It makes people mad when you're happy ahead of time.
Oh.
So the socket dwells only within your heart, not your physical heart. But that which is symbolized by the physical heart. So your heart is the core of your being. So it's not an organ in your chest. It's the core of your being. But how many times in each day did you check to see, do you check to see that the cord is still plugged in? How many times each day do you check to see that your cord is still plugged in?
Not enough.
Not enough. How many times do you remember to ask yourself, is my commitment to love, is my commitment to fear? Is my commitment to love, or is my commitment to fear? Is my commitment to peace, or is my commitment to anger? Is my commitment to forgiveness, or is my commitment to grievances? Is my commitment to me experiencing poverty and lack, or is my commitment to me experiencing prosperity and abundance? He says all day long you ask yourself, is my commitment to love, or is my commitment to fear? Fear is the act of disconnecting your cord. So whenever you disconnect your cord from the only socket that can truly satisfy you, whatever you do, don't disconnect your plug from the only socket that can truly satisfy you. Are you running around trying to plug your... Are you running about trying to plug it into somebody else's socket? That's deep stuff, man. Are you running around trying to put your plug in somebody else's socket?
Socket to me.
Socket to me. I know you just said socket to me, didn't you? Well, socket to you, too. Socket to me, socket to you. I would ask you to consider this one question. As you look upon the whole of your experience, has it ever worked?
Yeah.
Can it ever work? Imagine trying to hold flowing water in the palm of your hand by squeezing your fingers together. How much water would you be left with? Does it not just run through the fingers no matter how hard you try? It finds the little holes and it flows away. You open your hand and there's not enough left there to wet your tongue.
This is juicy.
time you looked upon another, whether a parent or a sibling or a friend or a mate or a teacher or whatever physical person or object, and you tried to plug into that socket to get the juice you believe you need? Let me plug into your socket to get the juice that I believe I need, baby.
That's a good line.
Yeah, I'm just right. You at the club, somebody walk up to you, hey baby, can I try to plug into that socket to get the juice that I believe I need right now? He says, you believe you need that's just what you were doing. And you literally end up squeezing the life out of the relationship itself. If all you're trying to do is get what you need, you're actually squeezing the life out of the relationship. When all you're trying to do is get what you need, you're actually squeezing the life out of your relationships. When you're just trying to get only what you need, you're squeezing the life out of the relationship itself. When you seek first the kingdom, when you plug that cord into the socket within your own heart, when you remember that you and your Creator are one, when you remember that only love is real, when you remember that nothing else matters, when you remember that nothing else matters, you will remember that the temptation to find love outside yourself, the temptation to try to find love outside yourself is nothing but an echo of an old habit. We're just in the old habit of looking for love outside of ourselves. That's all it is. We're just in the habit of still trying to look for love outside of ourselves, even as we're learning that love is inside of us. So even while we're learning that love is within us, we're going to have times that we're still seeking for love outside of ourselves because we're just in the habit of looking for our happiness outside of ourselves. So stop being hard on yourself when you still see yourself seeking happiness and love outside of yourself, because it's just the remnants of an old habit that you've had for millions of years, if you think in those terms. So give yourself a break. So that means that that habit can't live unless you feed it. A habit can't live unless you feed it. A habit can't live unless you feed it. Therefore, you need to start feeding only the habits that matter. That's deep. Which is what? The habit of remembering that the truth is always true, regardless of what's passing before your physical eyes, regardless of what's passing before your mind. The truth is true, which is you are only love and you are the presence of love, and that's the only thing that's true about you, regardless of what you see in front of your physical eyes. The only thing that's true is that you are the presence of love. You are loved, you are lovable, and you are loving. That's the only thing that's true about you. Yes, that's the only thing that's true about me. Now remember, your belief about that has nothing to do with the truth of it. So even if you don't think what I said was the truth, that doesn't make it not the truth. But it keeps you from enjoying yourself right now. So in all comings and goings, in all births and deaths, in all arising and passing away of universe after universe after universe in the midst of a flat tire. I love that. Jump all the way from rising and passing away of universe after universe after universe to in the middle of a flat tire or a sudden rainstorm. Nothing holds value. Nothing holds value except your relationship with your Creator. Nothing holds value except your relationship with your Creator. Nothing is valuable except your relationship with your Creator. That's the only thing that's really valuable. And so when you've experienced in a relationship with anyone or anything a moment of bliss, when you experience with anyone and anything a moment of a peace that forever passes all understanding, a moment of fulfillment so sweet, a moment of fulfillment so sublime, that no word can touch it, much less express it. What you have experienced is only the flow of the love of God through you. So whenever you're feeling any kind of bliss, whenever you're feeling any kind of bliss, whenever you're feeling any kind of joy with anyone or anything, and you're feeling any kind of happiness, that's you actually experiencing the flow of the love of God moving through you, and not the physical thing that you think is giving you the bliss. So what I use you for is a catalyst for me to allow the love of God to flow through me. And when I feel blessed, that is the love of God flowing through me. Wow. That person or thing did not cause it. It was caused because for just a moment, you stepped out of your drama. You stepped out of your dream. Just for a moment, you allowed the truth to be lived. So whenever you're happy, whenever you're blissed out, whenever you're really feeling good, it just means just for a friggin' moment, I stepped out of my drama. Just for a moment, I stepped out of my dream. Just for a moment, I stepped out of my regular story. So like when we laugh together and we have a good time and it really feels good, that's us stepping out of our drama for just a few seconds to laugh. So we got our drama that keeps us from being happy, right? Because we got some serious stuff coming down. That's why I'm here. I got some serious stuff coming down, right? Yes, I'm all ready, right? And then something happens and we do something and all of a sudden we join, which is laughter. We experience in oneness, which is laughter. Then we get out of our story for a minute and we laugh, and then all of a sudden we remember that we laughed and we have to get back to the story quick as we possibly can. Because you then saw that you could be happy no matter what situation you're in right now, because you were able to laugh and you were still in the situation. So now you know the situation has nothing to do with your happiness. See, if being broke kept you sad, no matter what, being broke meant you couldn't laugh. You broke. You can't be happy because you broke. And you found out you laughing, then you realize, well, I'm feeling happiness, but I'm still broke. So my happiness has nothing to do with me being broke. So I shouldn't be seeking the money. I should be seeking my happiness. And then let my happiness create the money. Because that's the way it works. Not get the money, then get happy. You get happy. Oh no, happy. I like how you was off the beat too. You look so, I know you look so innocent.
Look how you got your story.
Then, of course, he says you trick yourself into believing, God, that was so sweet. That was the best thing I ever tasted.
Let it out, Raj, let it out.
I have to reserve something for my advanced class. We gonna see how innocent you think you are. Say, that was the best thing I ever tasted. It must have come from you. Get over here. I need you. God, that was so good. That was the best thing I've ever experienced. It must have come from you. So now I need you. And that's what happens when you feel really, really good with somebody and you feel like it's really, really sweet and it was the best thing you ever experienced. He said what happens is the mind immediately projects that that person gave it to you, and so it tells you, you better get that person and you better make sure nobody else does. Because they got what you need and it's sweet. The best thing you ever tasted. If ever you believe you need anything or anyone, rest assured in that moment you are living in delusion. Whoa! Whoa! All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. That's all I know. Other than that, I have to break it to some James Brown. Okay. I didn't hear too much of the Beatles in the hood. I'm sorry. The Beatles I knew was the ones I was trying to kill in my bed. Even the one did kind of look like Ringo. But that's what the next section is. All you need is love. That's what we broke into that, didn't we? All you need is love. Love fulfills all things. Before I get into that, let me throw it open again. It's important to me to give everybody a chance to share. And it's anything anyone wants to share. Not I go on.
I was wondering a little bit, and I don't know if this is, I don't know, if our socket is in our heart, in our center of our soul, what is the cord?
The cord, to me, it's talking about your being willing to seek something where it actually is. So it's really more of a metaphor. Like, you know, my cord is what's going to allow me to connect with the thing that I need to get and receive whatever I need to receive. So the cord is my willingness to join. The cord is my extension.
Okay.
Like an extension cord.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But the problem is, I keep trying to get the love from somebody else, so that's the same as me taking my plug and sticking it in the wrong socket. And so I don't get the love back because I got to stick it in my heart. I got to love me. It's getting easier to love me. That's what I'm noticing. You know, I'm really beginning to say stuff like, well, you know, Earl, you're not such a bad guy. I'm proud.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not up to, I love you, Earl. I love you so much, boy. I just love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. I'm not there yet.
Fool me.
No, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, you know. But I'm very pleased with my progress.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with my progress. You know, it's all relative. Like I heard people say, you've been studying the core for 35 years and you still have grievances. What hope is there for me? You know, I can tell you, I heard times I've heard that. You know, it was just an excuse not to do your own work. You know what I'm saying? And I always say, you don't know how far I've come.
Yeah.
You don't know how far I've come. That for me to be able to say, oh, I really like you. You know what I'm saying? That might have been a long way for me to come. So I'm proud of where I'm at today. You know, and that's what you need to be. We all need to be. We need to give ourselves more credit. Because you came out tonight because you wanted to love yourself more, see things differently, join with other people. You know, you didn't mind being around really weird people. And you know what I'm saying? And you were showing unconditional love and tolerance and everything. We've come a long way. I say outrageous things. Nobody really gets mad, or, you know, generally speaking, or stomp out, or cuss me out, or, you know what I'm saying? We are very extraordinary beings. You know, pretty much no matter what anybody says or does, people can like, okay, even if they don't like it, they don't kill nobody. You know, it's not like, you know, I didn't like this sentence. We should feel good about ourselves. Let's acknowledge us. Come on now. Let's give it up to us. Woo. Open-minded as we can be. So let's just give it to us for the whole evening. I'm going to stop right here so we can do a quick review before we get out of here. All right. And then we'll start out with All I Need Is Love, which would really be a deep section. Let's do the financial expression of appreciation. Thank you for sharing with me. Thank you, God, for sharing with me. Those on the internet, thank you for sharing with me financial expression of appreciation. If you'd like to do that, you can go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and you can do it there. I'm also available for one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions, where I use my knowledge of astrology and numerology and the way of mastering the Course in Miracles and every other freaking thing I've studied in the last 40 years and try to bring it to whatever your situation or circumstance is that you're dealing with right now, to see if you can get another way of looking at it and handling it. So those online, go to my website, it explains it, earlpurdy.com, and we can do it over Skype or the phone, or if you're local, we can do it at my office if you choose, or you can still do it at home.
No.
You can be healed from the comfort of your bed. You can be in your robe getting healed by me. So I just want you to know that that's the beauty of technology. You don't even have to get out of bed to be healed. I feel we're so blessed. We're finally using technology correctly. And then Sunday, another Course in Miracles class. Good, great, great. Okay, let's, there's one thing that we said earlier that I'd like to use to finish up this lesson tonight. And so what I would like to ask is that you just relax. I think tonight we just, we just chill on out and just hear a few things before we leave. Is that cool? Yeah, I just kind of want us to just chill out. Use the power of your free will to say, now from this moment on, from this moment on, from this moment on, from this moment on. I'll say it over and over and give you a chance. Not to, you don't have to say it out loud unless you just want to. But I want you to hear this. From this moment on, I will no longer tolerate error in myself. Now from this moment on, I will no longer tolerate error in myself. No more games. No more dreams. I am committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. Anybody want to say it with me? I am committed to being only the presence of love. Let's just say that for a while. I am committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. We are committed to being only the presence of love. We are committed to being only the presence of love. You are committed to being only the presence of love. You are committed to being only the presence of love. Now I want to try a little experiment. This is the way it'll work. Only say it out loud if you really feel like it. It's very important. If you just want to listen and not say it a few times, don't say it, that's fine. But I just want to take a minute to do like our own kind of curtain, but actually saying something we actually know what we're saying. Like taking your stand tonight and saying to yourself, let's say it together, I am committed to being only the presence of love. It's 5 minutes. I am committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. Now I'm going to do something really powerful. It's deep. Keep going. I am committed to being, keep doing it, only the presence of love. I am committed to being committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. And try to hear the voice of the person next to you. I am committed to being only the presence of love. I am committed to being only the presence of love. For our friends and relatives, I am committed to being only the presence of love. Everyone around us, I am committed to being only the presence of love. We are committed to being only the presence of love. We are committed to being only the presence of love. Yeah, we are committed to being, yes, only the presence of love. We are committed to being only the presence of love. We are committed to being only the presence of love. We are committed to being only the presence of love. Woo! Let's give it up to y'all. Let's give it up. That felt so good. Would you mind putting that right there? Right there, right there. Woo! Now remember, we were told that if we were committed to being only the presence of love, the whole universe would conspire to arrange everything to allow us to be free of any obstacles that keep us from experiencing the love and joy that we deserve. And we're supposed to trust that right now, everything that happens from this moment forward is all part of that divine plan. That's it. All right, hugs up, y'all. That's it. Woo! Thank you for being the blessing that you are to me.
Yes.
Whoa. Woo. And now we'll turn over the control of your TV back to you.